Good afternoon, everybody. This is Mike from What's on Joe Mind. I am joined by my man Carson over in the 3D Joe's. What do you want to call that? The bunker?
3D Joe. Yeah, actually, this is the Locomotion Studios headquarters. The 3D Joe's Toys R Us is downstairs.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So we've got two levels to the bunker, I guess. And joining us today on launch day for his Action Force Kickstarter, the one and only, the irrepressible, the close-shaven Bobby Vala.
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me. Very excited.
Hey, we're good. Thanks so much for hurrying home and being with us on this. We were really pumped to have the opportunity to get this out on the day of launch. And what we've done on our program traditionally, when we've had folks with Kickstarters on, we've given the chance to, when possible, we've given the chance to walk through those Kickstarters and talk about the product and stretch goals and all that stuff. And that's what we're doing here today.
Yeah.
So without further ado, Bobby, give us the intro here. Give us the start. When we're going live today, what's the first thing you want people to know?
I would like to think that 10 minutes after we're done recording, I'm going to hit that live button. There's a couple of small tweaks I'm going to make, but yeah, we are going live today. It's been really exciting last couple of days, just because I started this thing back in January, and now it's like finally here. You have this plan, like, oh yeah, I'm going to do a Kickstarter, and then like when it finally gets here, it's such like a weird feeling, because you're like, wait, whoa, it's like going to be it's going to be a real thing today. So once I started like saying like the date, and then once I started saying like, yeah, it's happening tomorrow or it's happening today, like it was like, wow, like that set in, and I was like, oh man, there's no turning back now. It's just, we're going strong. But I'm like super, super excited. I couldn't be happier. I'm so excited and happy about the way everything has turned out so far. Then when the Paint Masters came out, like all the rundown of the figures, the rewards, the whole way the Kickstarter set up, I'm really, really happy with. I don't think I'd really change anything at this point. A lot of big surprises coming after the Kickstarter starts, which we'll kind of get into a little bit. But yeah, we're going live. Absolutely going live.
Bobby, I got to tell you, man, I am so excited for you. Just from doing the books and posters, I know that feeling of, you work on something for months and months or years, and you have an idea and you think it's great, and you just don't know how much support you're going to get for it. And then you hit live on that thing, and every time that somebody backs you, man, you're going to get a shot of just endorphins. It's going to be amazing. It's going to feel so rewarding for you. It's going to feel, everything that you put your heart and soul into for the last months and years is going to start paying off for you, man. And I'm so excited for you. I can't wait to hit the green button myself.
Thanks so much, man. I really appreciate that. The support you guys have given me has been fantastic. The support that everyone has given is great. I couldn't be happier with, the reception of this thing so far. Because I know I kind of did it a little differently than other, action figure Kickstarters in the past. I kind of spent, 6 months or when did I launch the website? March maybe. So, 4 or 5 months, like getting people acquainted with Action Force and Valaverse, and, letting people, learn the characters and sort of just kind of like, bringing it all in and just getting acquainted with it, so that when the Kickstarter does start, they already know who their favorite characters are, or like, oh man, I've been eyeing up, the Swarm Trooper for months. I can't wait to pledge for that one. So, doing it that way, I felt like has been really positive, especially kind of like building the brand, as, kind of like how I wanted this to be. I want this to be something that has longevity and lives on. So, having that sort of, tier building aspect to it was really important.
I noticed that you were doing that, and I've also seen the positive impact on the product development side. You've updated your articulation. You've decided to do some joints differently, particularly in the shoulders was one of the interactions that I saw back and forth. Can you talk a little bit about how you've involved the community in the development of the product?
Yeah, I've been saying from the start, this line isn't about me. It's not only for me. I made this line for everyone. I want Joe fans, Black Series, Legends. I want all 6-inch figures. I want military fans. I want everyone to kind of embrace this line because it was made for them. It wasn't just made for me. Like, sure, I kind of came up with the characters and layout of everything, but you know, I wanted to make sure that everyone was happy with what they were getting. So yeah, with the butterfly joints, I don't like them. I rarely use them when I was working on Legends, but I know that that's kind of something the community really likes. And I wanted to really gauge that, because I don't, you know, we've at Comic-Con, we've asked people what, you know, joints they favor and joints they don't, kind of thing. And, you know, so I kind of had an idea, but I never really like knew the extent to which people like butterfly. They have to have them, but no one was like, oh, if they have them, I won't buy them. There was more like, if they don't have them, I won't get them, rather than if they have them, I won't get them. So I was like, you know what? The majority of people, I put it out there. They spoke. Their feedback was great. It was very, very constructive. And I said, you know what? This makes sense. And then plus, you know, me as kind of like a you know, gun enthusiast, you know, I do a lot of shooting. It's like when you're doing that sort of combat pose and you have your hand sort of gripped like this, you know, you need butterfly joints to do that. So I was like, all right, well, the figure has to be correct. And that's what it came down to also, is I want these figures to be correct, and they have to hold their weapons, and it has to be accurate for them to hold a pistol that way. So that's ultimately, you know, the factors that came to me putting the butterfly joints in. But yeah, I've taken everyone's kind of feedback, and, you know, a lot of it I've incorporated into this. You know, a lot of things people have guessed that I'm doing, you know, a lot of suggestions. I'm like, oh, wow, that's interesting that they kind of guessed that. Well, they'll have to wait and see, because I'm actually going to do that. But yeah, it's been great. It's been really awesome. I love engaging with everyone. I can't wait till Joe Fest to talk to everyone. You know, I can't wait for the feedback to come in on Kickstarter and through the social media and websites. It's really exciting to talk to everyone, because it's made for them.
And that way too, when you have your Action Force figures mingle with your Spider-Man figures, they can all swing from building to building and look realistic doing it. That's important.
Exactly.
Important. Anyways, we'll get right. Let's get into the Kickstarter before we throw any more time down the shaft here.
Yeah.
So starting off, obviously you've got tiers set up where people can just donate if they want, or they can get one figure if they want. Let's start a little bit higher than that. Let's start with kind of the basic set that's available. Sure. If you're getting one of just the base set with your X number of dollars, what are we getting there, Bobby?
So the initial fund goal is 5 figures. So the pledge amount will unlock 5 figures. So it is Condor, it's Karak, Downrange, Swarm Trooper, and the mystery Kickstarter exclusive figure, which won't be unveiled until June 19th. So those 5 figures are the first initial 5 figures. The exclusive, the Kickstarter exclusive figure is a little higher priced than the others, but you'll understand why, because of what he comes with when he gets unveiled. But that's going to be a big day, June 19th. So for those of you who want to pledge for the mystery figure, you can pledge for it now. There's an option for it, or you can wait until you actually see it to pledge for it. But, you know, for any of you sending questions, what is the mystery figure? I will not say anything until June 19th. So you're just going to have to be patient and wait. But those are the 5 figures for the initial fund goal.
So, Bobby, what's the mystery figure?
Cut the chase, Bobby. So there's a little transparency here. You can make out a little bit of the mystery.
I did that. I didn't when I was doing it. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna make it 100% blacked out. I'm kind of gonna give a little bit.
Somebody's gonna take that into Photoshop and really crank up the contrast and brightness, and they're going to do their best to try to make that out.
Well, now when I get off of this, I'm definitely going to black it out now.
There you go.
There we go.
So, Bobby, I can show off this preview link that you sent over to us whenever you'd like. So if you want me to kind of throw any supporting graphics on this live video that's from this Kickstarter preview, just let me know. Gotcha. I kind of scrolled through the figures to give everybody a little sneak peek of it. But, man, I got to say, this is the first time I've seen the full-color paint prototypes.
Yeah, you guys are –
Ooh,
they
look incredible.
The first to see them.
Dude, they look so good, man. Seriously.
Yep. We're very appreciative of that.
I'm very happy with the way they turned out. So, and more are going to be coming. So, once Downrange is finished up, he'll be shown. The mystery figure will be shown in full prototype form on the 19th. Bone Collector will be shown at some point as well. So, and then I'll have all these models on display at Joe Fest.
So I'll put you a little bit on the spot here. I just saw the eyes will be a separate translucent piece when I was previewing a Kickstarter. That sounds incredible. Is there going to be something visible underneath it, like a la 1992 Cobra Commander or 1991 Cobra Commander with a little bit translucent face mask where you could make out his eyebrows and eyes or anything like that?
I'm not sure. I can definitely look into that for sure, but I know that the option to do the translucent part was actually made by the factory. When I was getting the prototype parts, printed over there, the gentleman who kind of runs the factory, he said, I think this would be great if they were a separate part molded in translucent. It would be really nice effect. And I said, I can't believe I didn't think of that, because I did it on the Yellow Jacket figure for Marvel Legends. I tried doing it on the World War II Captain America on the motorcycle. So I've done it before. I just didn't. I missed it. So I'm glad someone caught it, because that's like a really good option for this figure, and I think it's really gonna make it pretty awesome to do that.
That means you're working with a really good vendor. When they're bringing ideas to you to make your product better that don't necessarily make their life easier, then you're working with a good guy, good person.
This factory specializes in collector figures, so I couldn't be happier with the factory that I have lined up and the people that I have working with me.
So that, as far as character selection goes for this initial assortment, obviously you're going to have a Stormtrooper in there. Obviously you're going to have Karek in there because he's the lead bad guy.
Yep.
Why did you take the 2 Action Force soldiers that you did? Why are they the base guys?
So originally, Condor was not the first choice for one of the lead Action Force guys. It was High Point, who's one of the stretch goals. But I was never 100% happy with that character. And then when I announced Action Force, there was kind of a big outcry from individuals from the UK about Action Force, obviously, because I kind of took their childhood and now I'm making it my own. But they wanted kind of more of a throwback to the original Action Force, and I really, I didn't really have anything like that in the line. And there was an idea made to me by a friend of mine who's doing consultant work for me, who's also partnered with the factory. He said, you should have almost like a sort of a troop builder, like an SAS trooper, in all black. And then, other people are saying, hey, it'd be great if there was an SAS trooper, as a throwback to Action Force. And then I kind of had the idea for Condor in mind, but he would at a different color scheme. And I was like, I got an idea. And then I started to kind of create this character who is a British SAS trooper who came over kind of like as a liaison and became part of one of the original members of this new Action Force. So that's how Condor became the kind of the lead Action Force trooper. So he also, you'll notice on a lot of the figures come with, their regular unique head and then like a balaclava head for those people who like to troop build. I didn't want to keep them from having that option, because I know that a military guy in all black is kind of coveted. So yes, Condor isn't meant for that because he's Condor, but I'm giving the option to people that they can troop build with this SAS, trooper. And then Downrange was always a figure, a character that I had in mind when I started this project. So he was easy. I wanted him in there. I guess you can kind of think of him as like a stalker, I guess. He's sort of a more senior member of Action Force, very hard edge. So I just like the idea of that character, and that's how he got in there.
Excellent.
Do you want to give any kind of shout outs to the creative team, the folks that have been helping you with this? I know you're the primary principal key designer, but you've been working with some other folks on it.
Yeah. The sculptors I have are fantastic. I've had a couple people helping me out big time with this. A couple are, want to remain anonymous, but Grace Chung, she has been outstanding with the majority of my sculpting, and she sort of kind of take everything that was done by the other vendors, and she was the one that kind of made everything work together, because a lot of the parts work with all the other figures. So she kind of cleaned everything up. She's doing she did a lot of the main body sculpting for the Stormtroopers. She's also working on all the female figures, and she will also be working on all my sculpts moving forward because I'm so happy with what she's doing. She's a great person to work with. Arlen Pelletier, he did my head sculpts, the majority of my head sculpts. And he has the Unslain Kickstarter that's going on right now. Really beautiful 3 3/4 inch barbarian figure. So if you haven't backed that, please go and back that because that needs to get funded because it's a great line. But he's a great sculptor. I was happy to have him on board. And like I said, a couple anonymous people that, I wish I could say who they were, but they did a fantastic job helping out as well. I'm trying to think, the factory getting the prints made for me is Ron Rubin. He kind of reached out to me really early on. Was like, "Hey, you got a hand painter?" And I said, "Not yet." And he said, "I'd love to do this." So I got him on board early, and he's currently working on all of them right now. And he'll be delivering all the models to me at Joe Fest next week. So I'm really looking forward to that. But he's done a great job. Yeah, I'm sure there's people I'm forgetting. Paul Panflone did a lot of my logos for me, which he did a great job. Yeah, he's super talented. Who else am I? I'm sure
Paulie Bag of Donuts on Twitter or Instagram. Is that Paulie Bag of Donuts?
I'm trying to remember. I think he's Plastic Bottles on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's yeah.
Super nice guy.
Yeah.
So you just is that breaking news that all of the prototypes are going to be available at Joe Fest? Do you know how many of them are going to be there? Can you tell us a little bit about what people can expect to see in a couple weeks?
Yeah. So there'll be the initial 5 figures. So you'll have Condor, Downrange, Karak, the Swarm Trooper, and the Mystery Kickstarter exclusive figure. He will be there on display. And then one of the stretch goal figures, the Bone Collector, will be on display as well at Joe Fest. So you get to see 6 figures, 6 of them.
So with the Kickstarter, we've got 30 days from today.
Yep.
The goal to be 100% fully funded is $170,000. And if we're going
to I don't plan on changing that. But between now and when I hit launch, so 170 is going to be our number. Yeah.
Okay. But judging on what similar projects, that's pretty low actually. So that's very attainable, I think.
It's actually because there were kind of 2 schools with the Kickstarter thing. I talked to a lot of people who've had successful Kickstarters, and there's the mentality where, hey, let's keep the number low so that we don't scare people off and it gets people in, but you risk, say, not being funded over what you need to cover that. Or there's the, hey, here's the number. If it scares people away, it scares people away. But I want to be truthful. And, because this company's just me, I'm just starting out. I don't want to take big risks like that. And I want to be very honest and open with people right from the start. So that goal is the goal. Like, that's the actual number. Like, I'm not padding that. If anything, if it is padded a little bit, it's padded a little bit in case there's mold fluctuation. But other than that, this is the cost that I got from the factory. So I'm working with that factory really tight. I got my cost sheet worked out. What it's going to cost for it to get these figures produced. How many deco ops, all the accessories that they come with. Because I didn't want to cut anything. I wanted to keep how they were. So they gave me the cost for what they are. And that's that number is truthful. It's not going to be one of those things where, I'm going to come out later and be like, oh, it only made 180,000. That sucks because it cost 200 to get it all done. No, 170 is what it's going to cost to get those 5 figures done. So if it only makes 170, well, you're getting your 5 figures, and I feel confident that it's not gonna. I'm not gonna have to pay a ton out of pocket because I miscalculated. That's that number's a realistic number. And yeah, it's not, and all I think is going to scare people. When I first set this thing up, I was like, oh man, is this going to be a $200,000 project? I was like, that number would scare people away. And I looked at what other Kickstarters have done. The 4 Horsemen stuff, Marauder stuff, and all there seemed relatively low. And then when I got my costs back, and I'm like, wow, I can be so much lower than 200,000. Like, that was awesome to be there for that.
And an all-in pledge, just so everybody is aware, is $575, which, again, for the potential amount of stuff that's going to come in this Kickstarter, from the figures to all the gear to all of the just that could wind up being a serious value.
And not only that, but I'm offering free shipping on the all-in pledge.
There you go.
So domestic shipping is free if you go all in. So I think that's a pretty enticing option for people for the all-in pledge.
So let's get into stretch goals, because we are, as time becomes more of an issue. First stretch goal we've got is the weapons pack at $177,500.
Yeah, let me scroll down so I can be on point with you guys. Yep, that is the weapons pack. So you know, with these guys, they come with a crap ton of accessories as it is, but you can never have enough weapons. So I wanted to, you know, be able to give you know, an extra weapons pack that had a plethora of rifles and pistols, and you know, and some of those weapons in that pack don't come with other figures, so they'll be made just for the weapons packs.
Bobby, when you said earlier that you're a little bit of a gun enthusiast, I thought it was almost like you saying you're a little bit of a Steel Brigade collector.
Yeah, I guess when I do something, I wanna go all the way. So you know, when I like something, I don't kind of do it half-assed. I like to go heavy. You know,
you don't dabble in things.
Yeah, whenever someone like asks me like, oh, how many guns do you have, and my wife's around, she goes, yeah, how many do you have? And I'm like, I don't know. A couple.
Take the fifth on that one, Bobby.
I love looking at your custom guns on Instagram, man. You got
man, my Steel Brigade Custom 1911, man, that thing is awesome. I love that gun.
Truly is.
Wow.
All right, so back to stretch goals. You got
we get after that we get to our first figure stretch goal, which is the Bone Collector.
Yes, sir.
As you said, at 198,000. He's still one of my favorites.
He's a lot of people's favorites, and I think that it's going to ruffle some feathers that he's a stretch goal.
Yeah.
Well, you made him an early stretch goal though, so you'll be okay. You got some grace on that one, I'm sure.
He was a stretch goal literally from the start. He was always meant to be a stretch goal, but when I first started showing, you know, character art and putting up the bios on the website, you know, he was like a clear favorite to people. And I was always concerned with him because I was like, are people really going to dig a dude in like a skull mask? I'm like, I like it because I love General Kale from Willow. It's like, I think that a guy wearing a skull face mask is cool, but I don't know. I just thought maybe people might think he was weird. So I wasn't 100% sure how he was going to go, but totally everyone's favorite. And that's why I said, okay, well, he's not going to be the first stretch goal, but he will be the first figure stretch goal.
He is
so that people can get him early on.
I think that's exactly what people are drawn to about him is he's a little weird.
Right? Yeah.
I dig it, man. To me, it's a little bit Mad Max and the Thunderdome meets Alley Viper, you know.
Right?
I'm feeling it. Yeah,
that's a good way to describe him for sure.
So the second, well, actually, then we go to the backpacks. I wanted to ask you this question. It looks like the female backpacks are all shoulder bags, but the females are going to have back peg holes, right? So they could.
Yeah, no, the shoulder bag is not meant to be just a female bag. That'll be able to fit on anyone.
Okay.
So yeah, that's meant for male or female figures.
Mm-hmm.
So for the male figures, you may have to remove their vest and put that on, sort of like if you're going like covert ops kind of thing.
Yep.
You know, Jack Bauer style. But no, the females and males will all have the same backport. All the bags will fit on everyone. So the only one who might have some trouble with the backpacks is the Swarm Troopers, because the way his armor is, he's got this area on his back that like sort of protrudes a little bit because of the styling of the armor. So these traditional backpacks might not fit those figures as well, but there is a Swarm gear set when we get to that is made to fit the Swarm Troopers.
Right.
But yeah, I wanted to make sure that characters had backpacks because, you know, your squad can't be complete without backpacks. And, you know, I thought it'd be cool to just have a gang of them as a stretch goal.
Nice.
That rolls us into our next figure. stretch goal at 227,000, which is Eclipse, the star of the episode you did with us a couple of months ago.
Yeah. Yeah, she's another big fan favorite. When I think she was like my highest Instagram post until I started showing like the painted figures. She was a huge, huge hit. You know, you're never sure with female figures, but I think people just really liked her look, and I've always liked her look. And she's just a very cool, unique character. I love her backstory. So you can, you know, read about her on the Valaverse site. And she's just awesome. And then the sculpts you see under her, the work in progress, is you know, stuff that Grace just kind of sent to me last night, and she's hard at work finishing up the two ladies that we'll get to.
Mike, you still there?
Yes.
Updates, the final sculpts from her. I'll colorize them this way you can see them. So there'll be a lot of updates along the way throughout the Kickstarter for sure.
Bobby, so you just dropped out there a little bit while you were talking about Eclipse. One of the things that I think is one of the things I think is really cool about your campaign is your world building here. So just underneath the Eclipse, you know, unlocked at 227, you got this little link right here. There's an errant T out there, so I copied the T and pasted it in the website. You'll just want to double check.
Make sure I fix that.
But the awesome thing is, like, you can copy these links, go in, paste them into your browser, and then you get this beautiful like card art basically and backstory for each of these characters. So I really appreciate that you've done some world building here and that you give people, you know, things to imagine as they play with these toys. I think that's incredibly important to any new toy line. So kudos to you for that. Did you write all this stuff yourself, and who's the illustrator, and who put in all this work?
So for Eclipse, that's my illustration. And my good friend Ed Wasek, who I went to school with back in the day, he's always colored my stuff really well. So I got him on board to color all the artwork from the start. So I love the way he just colors my work. He takes my work and just makes it look good. You know, because I'm never sure if my artwork looks good. but he makes it look good. So I did the art for her. The story. I want to say I employed Daryl to help me out with a little bit of her, and then I kind of took it another direction. I had this idea for her, you know, her ethnicity. I wanted her to be exotic. I wanted her to have, you know, also a Native American background to her. So she had this depth to her story. So you can read all about her, and I think she's a really, really fun character. I like her a lot.
That's awesome.
And then. Yeah, then after her, we got the rough Trigger. Yeah.
Is this a tribute to the American Sniper at all?
No, it's not. You know, I could see where that looks a little bit like Chris Kyle. No, I just wanted sort of a, you know, you look at a lot of, if you just Google like Army Rangers and just dudes in Iraq and Afghanistan, they were just rough looking dudes. And I just wanted like a rough, burly looking guy to just carry. I wanted a guy that, you know, carried a saw and shot that thing like it was, you know, a pistol. I just wanted just a tough dude. He's like the muscle of the group. And, you know, I haven't finished his character art, but I eventually will finish his character art and put his bio up on the site. But, you know, he's called Trigger because he never met a trigger he couldn't pull. And when he pulls a trigger, he doesn't stop until he's empty. That's kind of like how he got the name Trigger.
Yep. And you got the removable ammo boxes there. Yep. I mean, removable belts, removable pistol holders, pistols, knife holders. I mean, there's a pretty incredible amount of removable pieces there.
Yeah. The figures like for instance, the Scar and the LR300, like you can remove the magazines, and the characters' vests have magazine pouches that you can put the magazines in. Because I didn't want these guys to be like a Pursuit of Cobra figure where it comes with 30 accessories and you don't know where to put all of them. I wanted I wanted the characters to be able to hold all of their accessories.
Yes, you're not making a Sideshow Collectibles 12-inch figure with a ridiculous amount of accessories, right? You're making something that you want people to take out and play with and pose and do photos in the field and that kind of thing. And it bothers me too when they've got too many accessories that they can't hold them all. Yeah. So yeah, he looks amazing. He's a personal favorite for me. Yeah,
you could put him in a squad with Roadblock and Rock and Roll, and he'd fit right in. I really dig Trigger.
For sure.
We got another figure at 268,000. Is the second Swarm Trooper. I almost still call him a Stormtrooper. That would get us sued. We don't want that. But he's got kind of that Cobra Commander dome thing going on. Is that other helmet? Is that going to be a translucent plastic too?
Yes, definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah, that would be excellent.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I thought the same thing. The kind of gosh, was that the IDW run? I think Robert Atkins might have done that.
Yeah, that was
Commander design.
Cobra Commander. Yeah.
Yeah, that was an awesome Cobra Commander. Very cool.
But him and the Swarm Trooper on their translucent parts, they'll have a hex pattern etched in.
Nice.
So you'll have the kind of this in-depth detail that you'll see in it for the light kind of to bounce off of. It's a really cool effect when it's done right. So hopefully I can pull it off. But yeah, for the Swarm Troopers, I felt like they were going to be a big hit, and their faction I felt like could be deeper than just one Swarm Trooper. So I wanted sort of a heavy gunner as the second one, and I also wanted him to have a different look. So I gave him a new head. So he'll have sort of the same base body, different vest, different head, but more heavy weapons. Sort of the rougher, tougher of the two Swarm Troopers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he looks incredible. I mean, even just like the thighs and the calves and like the body armor, it just he's a more robust kind of looking trooper.
Yeah, him and the Swarm Trooper. Yeah, like I said, same base body. So if you want to look at the original Swarm Trooper, you'll see what parts are used between the two figures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was saying to Carson before you came on, Bobby, these Swarm Troopers are just going to be hot.
There you go.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Do you? So one of the things we were discussing, sorry, Mike, was the color palette, right? So I love the yellow and gray and dark gray color palette for this, especially when we get to what we're going to down lower, which is the wing pack, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Do you think, is there a possibility of these in, say, like a royal blue and gray or a Night Viper green and gray down the road?
I mean, there's tons of possibilities for this. I'm not opposed to any of those options. I want to make sure that when I it's like my office is my Joe room, so I have all the Joes to look at and sort of see that differentiation that they had in that deep color palette. And I looked and I'm like, wow, yeah, you can say colors got crazy towards the end, but from 84 to 88, their color palette was so well balanced, and that's how I wanted this line to be. I wanted it not to just be generic Army colors. I wanted some bright colors in there. I wanted colors that you wouldn't think would really go together. So I'm definitely going to be open to a lot more range of color in future waves of figures.
Yeah, when people
created such a unique looking bad guy that really, I mean, the first couple of waves of this, you could just take out that yellow, put in a different color, and you have something that people are still going to want. That's how good those Swarm Troops are to me. They are fantastic.
Thanks.
Agreed. I'm going to build the hell out of it. So the very next piece is the Swarm Trooper gear pack, unlocked at 278.5, and this is basically the backpack, the shield, a couple extra machine guns. Yeah, that's incredible. I love that backpack, man.
Yeah, I thought it was good to follow up an additional Swarm Trooper with some more Swarm gear. Because I think, like I said, I think troop building is going to be big for this line, and allowing people to have this depth of their troop building, I think, is necessary. So, yeah, I thought, man, if these guys were deployed, how could they be deployed? And I wanted them to have this cool looking sort of jet pack that just looked like B-wings, but was more high tech looking. And it's more out there than any of the other stuff I designed. So it's more like think of how weird Hydro Viper was compared to the rest of the line. I wanted that weird outlier. So I think this is cool. And the jetpack, the wings will ratchet, so you'll be able to put them in different up and down positions. It'll come with a cool riot shield. So the wings and the shield will be the same translucent material as sort of the dome and the eyes. So that's gonna be a common theme with the Swarm figures, is that cool yellow translucent material. And then some color coded rifles, small machine guns to go along with these guys.
Yep.
It's funny you mentioned the Hydro Viper, because 30 years later, everybody still says, yeah, he was that guy with the hand, right?
Yeah, the webbed hand.
Yeah. And so, yeah, there's something to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead, Carson. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, no problem at all. I was just going to compliment the Hydro Viper's kind of oddness. I thought that figure scared the shit out of me as a kid. I'm sorry, Mike. You got to beep it. Like, you got to beat me once in every episode. But that figure, the combination of the card art and the webbed hand, he was no longer human. He had been modified. He was genetically modified, and it creeped me the hell out. So, yeah. I'm loving it, though. So I know we've got just a little bit more time. I want to make sure we get through these stretches. Next up is another female character. This time, kind of a Dreadnought, a little bit of a look here, a little bit of a Zarana kind of look. But her name is Pandora. She's got the straps on her arms like a ninja kind of thing. And then
this is Dora. Pandora. Yeah. Well, I wanted a chick that could like beat the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Like, but at the same time, I would fall in love with. And it was like when I was designing her, like I love her. Like I have such like a feeling for her, because I would marry her. She is awesome. I just wanted this cool chick, and there were so many like females that she's like based on.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of everyone in there, but I just thought of like, so her backstory is she's from Ireland, and she got involved with like Irish mobs early on. She just wants to be kind of a rough chick, and if you can see, I don't know if you can see in the images, she's got a Glasgow smile. So she's got scars.
Oh, I do see that. Yeah.
And I wanted her to be sort of this beautiful looking female, but at the same time have these ugly scars that sort of kind of define her. And it just made her kind of badass. She's got an awesome tattoo on the back of her head, because she's got like her head shaved, around. She's got a cool tattoo on like her arm. I just wanted her to be super, super awesome, but have sort of this in-depth story. So I guess you can think of her as like rough like a Dreadnought, but she does have a really in-depth backstory. I'm working on the character art for her now. I just got the headshot that Ed did for me, and he colored her unbelievable. Like I can't wait to post her and her bio, because she's awesome. And yeah, I wanted her to have like hand wraps, like MMA hand wraps. So like when she's always like beating the tar out of dudes, she just got. Maybe we'll put some blood splatter on her hand wraps in production. We'll see.
Yes, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, because the first thing I thought when I looked at her was this chick could beat Bobby's ass.
Right? Yeah. But at the same time, she'd want to go to the range with me. Like, all right, let's go.
That's our next special edition. Is you name the characters that can beat up Bobby Vala.
All of them.
No, she's awesome though, man. I love that. I love that figure. Great job with that.
Yeah, she's great. And then up next is some more kind of troop building. So Karak, who's like the lead villain, his faction is the Garrison. And I was like, well, he's got to have troopers. When Cobra Commander came out, he had Cobra troopers and Cobra officers. So I wanted there to be some Garrison troopers. And if you notice, Karak kind of has like that military feel, but he wears like that gladiator looking helmet. And I wanted his troops to kind of have that same feel. So these troops have sort of that base military body, but on top of the helmet, they have sort of this medieval style face guard. And, that's how I wanted these guys to look. And I couldn't be happier with how they looked and their color scheme. They're really cool looking. So they're the first 2-pack. So you can't get them as single figures. That you have to, the reward for them is going to be like, you have to choose the 2-pack option to get them.
And so is this kind of a blood splatter that's on their face masks, or is that paint? Is that war paint, or is it blood splatter?
You could think of it both ways. I guess it's kind of like war paint. Karak has the same. He's got 2 lines down the sides of his helmet. So I want that theme to kind of roll through them, kind of like the translucent hex pattern on the Swarm Troopers. I wanted the factions to sort of have their own look.
And we unlocked that at 340,000, correct?
Right. Correct. And that's I definitely noticed that kind of unifying quality of those characters the first time I scrubbed through this. So now we've got another hero, High Point.
Yep. There's another member of Action Force. Think of him as like maybe like the a lower tiered member of Action Force, not a rookie because Action Force is made up of already sort of established elite military members, but he's not as senior as Eclipse or Condor or Downrange.
Mm-hmm. And so what's his MOS? If he do you have MOSs for each of these characters? Are they kind of specialized, each of them?
They will. On the package, everyone will have a file card because I think file cards are important, just like G.I. Joe collecting. So
absolutely.
On the back of the packages aren't meant to keep the figures in them. So if you're a mint in box collector, this might not be the line for you. These figures are meant to be played with and displayed. So the file card will be on there, so it'll have all their skills. And I'm going to take tidbits of their bios from the website, and that'll be on.
God bless you, sir.
The file cards.
Nice. Well, you can always buy two, right? One to open and one to keep in the package.
Yeah, buy two.
That's right.
So this is another one of those characters where you've got the fleshed out bio on your website. So again, doing some real world building here, which I think is incredible. So this is something that I noticed upon the first scroll through. You have two versions of Eclipse here. Can you talk us through your thinking there?
She's the only one that has a second version. Yeah. Yes, you could say there's two Swarm Troopers, but they're different looks. But yeah, Eclipse, I liked her so much that I felt that I wanted her to have another look. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like I had to be strategic with my tooling. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to tool regular Eclipse for battle and then do Pandora, but I want aspects of the Pandora sculpt to be used as a second body for Eclipse. So you can see now she has the tank top and the wrapped arm sleeves. So this is sort of the nice. It's hot in Afghanistan or Iraq, Eclipse on a mission. So just another cool look for her, just because I loved her character so much. I wanted another version of her in there. I have other versions of other characters as well, but I didn't put them in. I wanted to save them for maybe, future years or things like that. But her, I definitely wanted a second version of.
Yeah, I'm loving that alternate head sculpt with the head wrap.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, and Eclipse. Go ahead.
Would that be a tampo, or would that be? How would you achieve that pattern?
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to, like, the camo and the pattern on her shemagh. That's not going to be how it's in there. It's a little overzealous of me to put that in there, but they'll be tampo printed. So it's just a matter of working with the factory to see what is achievable. Yep. Some form of gecko pattern will definitely be achievable on her pants and her head wrap.
Yeah, you got to start ambitious with your designs, right? And
exactly.
See how closely they can get there. If you don't aim high, you're not going to break new ground, right?
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Eclipse 2 there is at 381,000. Brings us to another Swarm Trooper 2-pack.
Yep.
Or another 2-pack. This time Swarm Troopers, I guess, is more accurate.
Yeah.
This unlocks at 422,000. And Bobby, looks like we got a sniper on this team.
Well, I mean, I wanted these guys to be a darker palette than previous Swarm Troopers. So these guys are more like the stealthy night force versions of the Swarm Troopers. Plus, it's like extending that Swarm Trooper troop building. So, I wanted to be able to give these guys other versions, but put them into 2-packs so that you can get them, you can get their gear pack. So it gives you more options for different looks for the Swarm Troopers.
Excellent. Still winners, by the way.
What was that?
And then, still winners, by the way, man. Still love
Thanks.
Still loving the Swarm. I think you got a fan, you got an army builder over here in Mikey.
Nice.
Dude, not only am I an army builder, I'm a sucker for a repaint. So I'm one of those guys. And that brings us to the Ultimate Gear Pack, which unlocks at 434,000, which, again, still say that we're still in the very makeable range here.
And this is modeled after Bobby's closet.
Yeah. Close to it. I would say
when Bobby opens his armoire.
Right. I just wanted, more, there's a lot of gear packs in the early stages of the stretch goals, but I wanted to kind of end on a high note. Mm-hmm. And I wanted like an arsenal. If we get this far, it's almost like a reward. Okay, here you go. Here's all of it. So you know, it's almost all the rifles and pistols and blades that I have to offer. You know, some backpacks. So there's a good selection of weapons in here to kind of round out, you know, your Action Force collection. So, you know, if you like the gun that comes with the clips, but you just want another one, well, hey, there's 2 more in here, and, you know, 2 more scars. You know, like I said, there's a couple of the rifles in here, submachine guns from the early weapons pack that don't come with other figures. Some of the other bladed weapons that come with, you know, people like the Bone Collector and Karak, and then you know, a set of backpacks in there as well. So nice ending to the stretch goals, I felt. So that's the end of it there.
Well, I absolutely love it. It is exhaustive. It is impressive. I personally want to own it. I want to talk about the 6-inch elephant in the room, right? G.I. Joe collectors have been collecting this stuff for decades, and they've been collecting this 3 3/4 scale, and they're partial to the 3 3/4 scale. And a lot of G.I. Joe collectors, myself included, have been saying, hey, if Hasbro's out of ideas, let's make some 6-inch Joes. I'll buy those too. You know what I mean? And there's certainly people in the community that are resistant to that. And I know, you know, the launch of a 6-inch military line is going to satisfy a lot of people's desires, but it's also going to have those naysayers that are like, well, I only want to collect 3 3/4 inch for military action figures. So in my mind, the current state of the industry, and you can speak to this from your professional experience of being at Hasbro for the past several years and seeing what's going on in the industry right now, what can you say about 6-inch, you know, in terms of to try to help those people get over that kind of anxiety about, well, it's a whole different scale. It seems to me when I'm shopping for toys now, 6-inch is just where it's at. I mean, that's almost all that they're making at this point. You can't even get Marvel Legends in 3 3/4 inch. You know, used to be able to get those at Walmart. It's 6-inch everywhere I look. So how do we get those people that are Joe fans, Joe collectors, military enthusiasts that would get so much pleasure out of your line to just be able to overcome that threshold?
Yeah, I you know, you're right on the money. You know, I was always a 3 3/4 guy at heart, and you know, when I started working at Hasbro, I was working on the Marvel 3 3/4 inch figures, so that was like a dream for me. And you know, I've worked on Joes in the past, so that was great. But then when 3 3/4 went away, I was upset about it, but I understood it. Like once I learned why it was going away, I got it, and I started to work on the 6-inch figures, and I started to realize, like, okay, wow, you get more at 6-inch. You know, yes, they're bigger, but you can do more with them. You can do more articulation. You do more deco ops. Like, you know, the deco on the eyes and the faces just are so much more crisp than a 3 3/4 inch figure.
True.
So, yeah, and I saw that's where the future of things was going. I mean, even, you know, look at Hasbro, their basic figures, their 5-point articulated figures are 6-inch figures. You know, they're not, you know, Star Wars is like the anomaly. It's been able to keep 3 3/4 and bring in 6-inch, but Marvel just couldn't do it. I think because Marvel never had an established scale. It's like you had Secret Wars, which was a weird scale, and then you had, you know, Marvel Legends came out, and then Marvel Legends went away, and then it was 3 3/4, and then Legends came back and then killed 3 3/4. So it, you know, there was nothing true to it. I'm, you know, being at Jazzwares, I'm interested to see how the 3 3/4 does along with 6-inch. Like, is one going to cannibalize the other? Yeah. You know, but for this, I knew from the start, like, I want to do 6-inch because when I was on the Joe brand, I started a 6-inch line that got killed, and I felt like, well, that's a need. Those there are people that want that, and it's a fresh take on it. And you know, yes, a lot of feedback I got from people was, oh, these are 6-inch. Well, they look great, but I'm a 3 3/4 guy, and it's like, I get it. I don't like how closed-minded people are. Like, oh, well, this is my collection. I'm not collecting any other scale. Well, Hasbro's not giving you anything. Right. So what are you collecting? Right. Okay, yeah, you're collecting Fortnite. I get it. But before Fortnite came out, what were you collecting? Nothing. Right. The club stuff was over. So if you don't want to embrace it, that is 100% fine. I get it. But at the same time, you know, you can look at other things. It's okay. You can buy other things if you want. And there's been a bunch of people that have sent me feedback that were like, hey, I'm a 3 3/4 guy at heart, but this is going to get me on board with 6-inch. And I love hearing that. I'm like, that's awesome. So I know that I'm not going to get 100% of the Joe community on board, and that's okay.
Yep.
But if I can get a lot of the Joe community and some Marvel Legends fans and some Black Series fans and just military, toy fans in general, or just 6-inch figure fans in general, people that just like the quality product, hey man, then that's a win for me. So if scale's an issue, I get it, but what are you gonna do? I've had people like, hey, well, if this is successful, you should do 3 3/4 too. And I'm like, well, if it's successful, why would I do 3 3/4?
Why?
Right. Well, I can tell you, I'm making the jump with you, man. I'll be there. I'm excited about it. We haven't had a military 6-inch line to my liking. Obviously, there was one other Kickstarter that was attempting to do it. We had, if you're a ninja person, you can look at the Fwoosh's articulated icons and get some ninjas and add those over with your Valaverse toys and kind of build out. If ninjas are your thing and you're disappointed there's not a ninja in here, then you could pick up a Fwoosh figure and throw that in with these. But I'm excited that we're getting something that's kind of near future military figures in the 6-inch scale from you. So I think it's meeting a need. I would also say to those that don't want to make that jump from 3 3/4 or 4-inch to 6-inch, to your point, there's not going to be anything to buy for the next year and a half, maybe 2 years. The G.I. Joe movie 3, the Snake Eyes movie, just got pushed back to October of 2020. It is clear horizons, man. So for those of you out there that have a toy budget, that love toys, which is probably all of you that are especially still watching at this point, you love toys. Don't deprive yourself of buying these awesome toys because you're stuck on 4-inch. Like, give it a chance. Try the bigger figures. And I can say from personal experience, I've been collecting Marvel Legends. There's a shelf of the X-Men right there. And they're freaking phenomenal. Like, to your point about the paint apps, the sprays that they use on the faces to get once Jean Grey came out and Rogue came out, there was a wave there of X-Men figures. Once I saw their faces, I was like, oh my God, they're actually like beautiful. The sculpts are beautiful, but the paint applications are beautiful. 6-inch just allows you to do so much more beautiful renderings. So absolutely. I'm on board, man. I'm excited for you.
Awesome. Well said. Well said.
Yeah, I'm in that club of folks who are a little hung up about a G.I. Joe 6-inch line, but it's not because I'm married to scale. My issue with G.I. Joe is that I think a lot of fans are kind of not accepting that the 80s have been over for a while.
Yeah.
So I never had any kind of interest. I already have Gung Ho from 1983, for example, and I bought him again when he came out in the modern sculpt a couple of years ago in the Toys R Us line, and I'm kind of done buying that Gung Ho. If you get, like, I have no interest in buying that figure in his bright blue and green camo in a 6-inch scale. No interest whatsoever. But if you give me something interesting with G.I. Joe characters in 6 inches, I will follow that line just about anywhere. And I think that what you're doing with Action Force is scratching that itch. Like, I'm excited for this. And I didn't think I was going to be this excited for this the way I am. So I'm thrilled that this is finally getting going. I'm thrilled that this is finally getting to be real. We're about done with Carson's time. We gotta get him on the road before he gets pulled away from the screen, kicking and screaming.
I'm getting married, Bobby.
Oh, hey! Congratulations, man! Congratulations.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, buddy. That's got just a couple weeks out. So, man, my time is very limited these days.
That is the second. That's our second What's on Joe Mind exclusive of the day, right there.
Nice.
Sorry, ladies.
and you several gentlemen. But we'll take that moment. Bobby, you got any last words?
Please, for those of you who are going to support the line, thank you so much. It's been a great ride so far, and I hope this thing's a big success. So for those of you who've been supportive of the line, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for having me on. Thank you to everyone who's helped promote this. Like it, share it, please. Tell people about it. For people that don't know or love toys, please spread the word. But yes, big thank you to everyone. I can't thank everyone enough, and I'm really looking forward to seeing people at Joe Fest and talking about the line there. So I'll be there, and I'll be there waiting to talk to everyone. have some cool stuff to sell. Some T-shirts, some art prints, some stickers, good stuff to have available to support Action Force, and as well as having the Paintmaster prototypes on display.
Can't wait to see him in person. I'll be there too, Bobby. I can't wait to see that stuff, and I'll definitely rock a shirt in support of Action Force.
Yes, I'll have one waiting for you.
All right, What's on Joe Mind fans? We back Kickstarters. We have a good record on Kickstarters, so hopefully that continues here. Guys, that's Bobby Vala. That is Action Force. You can see more about it at valaverse.com/Action Force. We'll have the link to the Kickstarter up when we get this posted. Please take this video with you. Check out the site. Maybe have this on in the background. It'll be on our Facebook site. It'll be on our YouTube channel. It'll be on the 3D Joe's Facebook site. So we're going to cover a lot of bases with this. We're going to try and put out a wide net and get this started right, man. Just you hit that green button that says go, and we will get it going for you, Bob.
Yo, Joe.
Thanks, guys.
For What's on Joe Mind, that was Bobby Vala. That other dude is Carson Metaxas. I'm Mike Irizarry. You guys have a great evening. Full force.
Take care, everyone.
Later, guys.